Hello and welcome to Noise Kitchen Studios. It is I, your host, Jason, recording this intro in the middle of a thunderstorm. Oh Lord, let the floodwaters not rise. Today we're going to talk about a new free plugin from Soundtoys called the Spaceblender. I can't really explain what it does. I have never used it. I'm going into this one blind. And that's the fun part. Ooh, I wasn't kidding. If this is your first time in the channel, please give a like and a subscribe. I'm goofing off here for the most part, but I do take this pretty seriously as an educational channel, but not really serious in the way that I teach. But yeah, we're going to have some fun today. Reverb. Weird reverb. That's it. Okay, we're back. The rainstorm passed. This apartment has a history of flooding sometimes, so anytime a rainstorm comes around, I'm like, ugh, not again. So I should clarify that this plugin is free from Soundtoys until the 22nd of May, 2025. So it's good to go as far as this recording is concerned. The best way I think I can explain this thing, as far as I understand it, is a reverb plugin that allows you to manipulate the points of response on the impulse response. So basically, the reverbs are images of environments, and you can go in and instead of changing the initial attack, decay, release kind of stuff, you can futz with the actual impulse response itself. The bottom line is that anytime Soundtoys releases any kind of new plugin, especially a free one, I'm all in. My favorite bundle in audio production. Just so many fun toys that I just love to death, and there's probably not a single project that I don't just instantaneously go to and use them. Also, to clarify, Soundtoys has no idea I exist. This is entirely my own opinion, and it was free, so you can just go download it yourself. So as always, we're going to start with a drum beat, and I swear to God, every time I do one of these, I end up on some Sephora trance banger. So this is the drum beat. Which with zero irony, I truly do love trance music. It's some of my favorite stuff. So we're just gonna. I was having a hard time finding a drum loop in Logic that was kind of devoid of reverb, surprisingly. So I want to get one that kind of dry to better understand what the plugin does. So we're gonna start by literally just turning it on and seeing what happens. So it's on the channel. Well, that's a lot. Let's go through and try some different options. Try this one. Okay, that's much better. I think the hallmark of this one is basically manipulating this little point right here. So let's try just going through and seeing what happens with that. Okay, so the x-axis seems to make it more gated the more that you move it around, such as this. Bottom position super gated. And then the higher you go, it opens it up. And then on the x-axis, it goes and just changes the point of inflection. It's more subtle on the X, but on the Y-axis, it's pretty noticeable. So we're just going to go and just make a song, as we always do. We'll start with trying to find a point where it sounds cool. That's cool. It's basically focusing on the point where the kick drum is ascending in the loop. And then you got some other controls, mix, you got modulation. Pretty basic. Texture is interesting though. This actually changes the complexity of the reverb. All the reverb really is just a collection of delays, be it a plugin or the environment that you're in. The sound of sound bouncing around in an environment being delayed. So I think if you cut it all the way down, it makes a very rudimentary sort of delay sound. Cleans it up, and then if you go buck wild with it. Yeah, it's essentially just bringing in the room noise is what the texture knob does. I like it right. Color is just a simple shift EQ. Time, you can make it longer. I think this one goes out to like a minute long time-wise. Let's try that. Oh boy. I like this. I like this a lot because I love reverbs, setting them super short, more for the stereo effect. If anything, this one goes down to 100 milliseconds, so it's like it's very tight and feels like it's a stereo effect. Also, it changes the pitch the further out you go because that's how delays work, I guess. Oh, we're gonna have some fun with automation on this one. Okay, I got some ideas. Cool. Actually, we're gonna start with some automation. I'm not sure what this song is gonna be, but we'll start with a little dance drop, you might say. I got my axes backwards in that metaphor. I did not pass geometry class. Or any math class, actually. So let's start with doing my old favorite dance trance music trick where we go 100% wet and we drop it and it drops in and it's easier to show than explain. Oh, I don't know. I love dance music. I really do. Let's see, a little automation. Let's drop it in like. Yeah, that's easy. That's done. Oh, wrong command. Oh god, what am I looking for? Oh my god. Oh my god. Cool. I'm gonna build out a drum track next to like add on to like a little a program drum bit. Okay, and we are back again. And I used a, I know I'm a certified Logic hater, even though I use the platform, but one thing I do love about the newer versions of Logic is the really simple drum programming feature. Basically just like a sequencer, drop a beat in real easy. That's what I did. And then put a stereo spreader on it just to kind of give it some space. And here is what it sounds like. Something like that. And now let us add reverb to it. Let's try another Spaceblender. I don't know what I'm looking for at this point. Let's see what happens. Make a loop and go for it. Okay, that's cool. And we're just gonna automate. I was playing with the mix knob there, so let's just automate changes on that. Just like random little more delay, more reverb, less reverb kind of stuff. Now let us, how would you say, lean into the selling point of this plugin and automate just the actual like axes weird gated thing that this thing does. Because of course it should be an automatable point. I can't imagine it not being. Let's try that. All right, this drum beat needs some stank on it before we go any further. Let us add some bit crush to it. When I was 16 is when I first started playing music, and I have this distinct memory of me thinking like, maybe I should buy a DJ setup too. And I like to think there's an alternate reality where instead of like going down the road that I did, I ended up just like going down the DJ road and yeah, just playing some clubs in Ibiza. That version of me is having a lot of fun right now, I imagine. But hey, I'm happy to be me. All right, it's a little bit crush, you know, everyone's favorite clipper. Oh yeah, instantaneous. Perfect, nothing fancy. And let's go back to automating the time. Let's try to mess with the time as it relates just to the up and the down beat, something like that. Okay, actually, let's. I know what we're gonna do. Oh shit! Up and undo the. Oh, down to the automation. Oh no! Oh god, no! No, I didn't. Sweet. Okay. Let us. I know what I want to insinuate now when I'm doing this instead of just like randomly flipping the knob. Let's try it again. That's cool. Okay, I think we've driven the point home so far with this particular sound. I actually want to put some more reverb on the main drum and not something zany. We're just going to actually use another Soundtoys plugin. We're going to use Little Plate. I love Little Plate. And we're just going to just a little verb, I guess. What is this marker? What? I'm the master of hitting 9,000 wrong buttons on a computer. That's it. Yeah, right there. Cool. You know, there's a lot of reverb used in dance music, but it's not like the kind of like usually everything's like super tight, super gated, not a lot of low end. Just like, and usually it's used as like a background effect, like I just used right here. It's like there's reverb being used, like there's the idea of it, but it's not muddying up the mix. Like you're not messing up the 4 on the floor. Just like that. And for me, if I could describe it as anything, the reverbs used in dance music I describe as like Arctic feeling, if that's the way I can make it. They always feel cold. They're not very warm. They have their place. Like dance music is the dichotomy between like sometimes cold music in a club full of hot people who shouldn't be cold because they're hot, right? So it's that sort of like dichotomy that I love a lot. I've never been to no, I have been to a dance club. That was a wild story. But generally speaking, I don't go to a lot of dance clubs, but I truly love dance music more in the context of driving, like in a car, like late night kind of stuff, like the rhythmic kind of thing. It really helps with keeping your pace if you're trying to go to places late at night at a quick pace, essentially. So I think that's about it for that. I think it's about time for something more melodic. Let's dive into some keys. And I know this probably sounds goofy, but I think that I can make it feel less goofy if I put some tasteful keys on it. At least that's what I tell myself. Cool. So we're gonna add some Rhodes to this bad boy. Just a little. Like that, using the Arturia Labs Analog Lab. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. I need to make a video about it. It's a really cool, useful piece of software. We're just gonna add some keys, babe. Okay, put a second keyboard layer down here. I've been working on my neo soul jazz skills. They're beginner level, but I realized I want to focus more on piano this year, so we're going to put some of this new plugin on. First, we're going to do something a little fun. Let's use another audio Soundtoys plugin called a Tremolator, which is basically a tremolo. Just use it to really like deck out these two keyboard parts. 1, 2, cool. Not bad. Let's see, splice about a little more. Oops, wrong note. Yeah, that's cool. I'll print these and then we'll treat them through the Spaceblender. That'll be fun. Sorry about that. Cool. Now, reverb. Why not? I have no idea what I'm going to do for this, but we'll just add the plugin. Keep playing around with it. See what happens. Never be afraid just to try things. That's it. That's cool. That's really cool. It's a reverse reverb, and it really fills in the rear. Fills in the rear. That's cool. I love this setting. Actually, I'm gonna make this the default setting on this plugin because it's cool. It's just perfect. Just a perfect little way to like insinuate the back end of the chord. I guess that's simple, but so much space. I love it. Wow, that's really cool. It'd be a lot of fun on vocals. Hoping that I got a new project coming with the boys in the next couple months. My friend of mine might be writing some new music, and hopefully I can produce it. And I might be using this on some of those tracks, but I just love a good reverse reverb. Who doesn't? So let's keep with it. Something synth. It's synth time. I guess this is with the synth. We're gonna just keep with the melody in this. I like where this is going. Actually, I'm not done yet. Let's lean into this. Let's take this a little further. Let me go with this Universal Audio tape echo. Yeah, mine was an old 201. Let's just take this like reverse reverb and then do the thing. You know, you can run delays into reverb, obviously. You can run reverbs into delay. And honestly, I love it a lot more. It just always has more of a crazy effect. On a guitar board, like a pedal board over there, I always end up liking to put the delays after the reverb because shit just gets like real wild, like real quick. And let's see if I can get something similar to that by running this very nice sounding tape echo after the reverb. Let me check my signal chains right. Yeah, perfect. You don't get a wet dry on it. It's old school like that, but that's fine. Let's also use a compressor to keep it from getting too buck wild. I bought the Sound City Studio thing from UAD, but everything else I've gotten from them for free, and every single UAD plugin is sick, including this 1176. Also old school. There's no wet dry. Whatever, no big. But we're just gonna I want to use a compressor to keep things from getting too squirrely. Just keep everything nice and in focus. And this OG, just blackface 1176, tired and true. I think that's good. Actually, let's put this 1176 before anything. That should be a lot more containable. Perfect, yeah. The compressor was just too confused by what was going on, so putting it at the source just kind of keeps the keys contained so they can feed into everything else in a more balanced fashion. By sheer mentioning of the Sound City plugin that I love so dearly, I'm like, Jason, gotta put it on the drums. So it's on the drums on a bus now. Sounds like this. I love that plugin. But moving on. Actually, sorry, no. That triggered another idea, which is we're talking about reverb today, right? And we have a reverb plugin. We got to put it on a bus. So, because I mean, it's all one of the most common ways to use reverbs are to attach it to a bus, feed a signal into it. That way you have like the wet and the dry separately. And I'm going to get to that in a second. Because next up, I'm feeling some. What am I feeling? Let me delete these tracks. I don't need them anymore. I'm feeling some Mellotron, my favorite instrument. Probably the only actual vintage instrument I would ever trust myself with owning. But Analog Labs has a really sick sounding Mellotron. And I gotta learn to play Strawberry Fields Forever. I can't. But I just love Mellotron. It's the coolest instrument. If it works, how isn't it working? What's wrong with it? Oh, I know why it's not working. Yeah. How did it stop? The key bed's always weird on these because they're only like what, 1, 2, like 4 octave. Am I an octave down? Oh, I'm an octave down. There it is. It's gonna be a little more spicy. The Mellotron is one of the wildest instruments ever made. If you don't know what one is, I know you've heard one prior. Once again, Strawberry Fields Forever, a famous song with it. But the way that one works is you hit a key on it, and there's a little motor, and the motor has basically there's these strips of tape, and there's a strip of tape for each key, and you hit a key, and this little winder starts playing, and the tape goes over it and basically plays the piece of tape. But the piece of tape doesn't loop. It's basically on a string. So what happens is it runs out of space, and you can't play the note anymore. And it's crazy. And obviously, like, you could change the tape sounds out because you change out the tape, and I think people have probably made different ones. And some of the Mellotron models will actually mimic the fact that they can't run forever. But let's see if this one does. No, that one's fine. Sometimes they model it, sometimes they don't. But I love the Mellotron. It's such a cool sound. It cuts through really well, and it's just a spooky sounding instrument. So I'm gonna use it on just make some vocal stuff. Okay, I got a little sidetracked and ended up essentially using a machine that is a tape loop to make tape loops. So I basically made some Mellotron chords here. One on the right, one on the left. They're pretty quiet in the mix. Mellotron can eat up all the real estate in a song or a mix pretty quickly. They're really just like present. That's why I like them so much. So they're a little quiet, but you'll hear them come in. Just a vibe. And true to my word, we're going to try to send them to a send, not a bus. I always get the two confused. Not quite sure there's really a difference, honestly. But we're just going to send them to this verb, see what happens. Basically, we'll have a clean sound, and we'll have a wet sound by virtue of the Spaceblend. And I don't know, see what happens. I'll start with just this on solo. So. I should add, if you hit Control, Command, and click on the wet dry knob, and I think all Soundtoys plugins, it will lock the mix position. That way, we want this reverb 100% wet because it's a send, basically. So now I can just like go between different settings without the wet dry changing, because it might be different on each preset. Pretty quiet in the mix. Let's boost the output to the send. I mean, it's quiet in general, so I shouldn't be surprised. Like -2. Now context. Subtle. Yeah, it's just a layer. Nothing. I don't feel like messing and doing crazy stuff with it's really gonna have much of an effect on the sound. It's just like a reverb send. You know, reverb sends aren't really usually meant to be too dramatic, though they can be. This is just like gives this part some space and depth, as they often say. I feel it. You can notice it in the mix. Notice when it's gone. The one last thing I forgot to mention is on the Mellotron tracks, I automated the volume because I didn't want them being too loud at the same volume, because they get just too... Mellotrons, they're really intense instruments. Like if they're sitting in a mix at the same point, they'll really sort of like just drive into your ears in a bad way. So it's good to like modulate the volume of them. That's basically what I did on these two channel strips. You can kind of see the volumes moving. I automated that. I think that's about it. This song could use like a final core lead element, an actual synth, maybe like a DX7 sound or something. But I think that will wait for another day. Yeah. We're back. You know, best part about drinking is that I wake up at 6 a.m. whether I want to or not. So I have a lot of time to get things done. And here I am the next day, a little more tired, but we'll keep with it. You know, I feel like sometimes with these videos, I don't go as deep into the production making as I could. Kind of like ADD out and just sort of like bing, bang, bong, I'm in and out. But this time I'm going to go deeper into production instead of just like whiz banging out some synth line and like darting off like I'm a cartoon character. Although sometimes I do feel like a cartoon character. But what I wanted to do is what you do in dance music to start with, which is drop the drums out occasionally just to give it some space. So we're just going to go through, play through this beat, find some points just instinctively where it feels like the drums could go away and have some space. That's simple. Before we move on to anything else, let's just give it a gander. Like that. All instinct. The way I always gauge this kind of stuff is like in my head, I'm listening for myself to tell myself, hey, can we have a pause here? Like, can we have a break there? That's what I usually will do, and we'll keep with it. Basically, we'll keep this drum bit in, I guess, but we will we'll keep like the bass drum. Well, that's what we'll drop out because we want to have like a top rhythm. This is another thing in dance music where like the main like pulse of the music will drop out, but the top line, as I call it, will remain. So to demonstrate. Actually, this one right here, it's not an even metric too. Like, it doesn't look like it's coming in every fifth bar or anything like that. It's just purely like what it feels like when it should drop out. And we're gonna do some work with another instrument in that space too, do some rises. And we'll drop out the last two bars actually. Cool. This song is getting some Chemical Brothers vibes to it as well. Love those guys. And a choo-choo train is coming, so I'm going to stop yapping. Actually, let's keep with this trend as well. We're going to put a high pass on the drums whenever they happen at the drop to make it even more... There's the buses. Okay. To make them even more... hi-fi. I'll demonstrate. Let's see, where's my drums at? Drums are here. This is the bus. Yes, this is the bus for the drums, not the synth. The bus. And we're just going to. I'll show. So basically, we're just gonna like oh my god, let's make the marker car. Blah 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 blah. Cut this part out. We're just gonna high pass so that the top line's even more thin sounding. That way the drop is even more extreme. So let me just loop this pit right here. Well, also, I mean, there's not a lot of low in here to begin with. That's kind of the point. But we can also just boost the treble, essentially, to make it even more spicy, like this. Yeah, just a simple shelf EQ. And then we'll automate it by hitting a button called, there you go, latch. And then we just go through and make sure it's off and not on, like I've done so many times in life. And just do it like this. Oh, see, it's already on every time. Drives me crazy. I've accidentally automated so many things in reverse. It's just the nature of the beast. All right. Oh no, the follower got turned off. There we go. Okay. Cool. Okay. I'm going to do something off camera that's really monotonous, but I'll explain it when I get back because it's another little quick and easy trick to explain, but boring and slow to actually do. Okay, what I did is I went and I clip gained up the first hit back into the return of the pulse drum. So it's just real loud, bang, right into it. So it's really just like letting you know it came back, essentially. I'll demonstrate. Yeah, it's even clipping. I don't care. It sounds cool. It's clipping. I guess the mix is clipping via clip gain, but it sounds cool. I don't care. Clip gain is fun. Clip gain is the quickest and easiest way to just make a change, and like changing the volume of something is sort of like just being your own compressor, and clip gaining individual parts is imperative to making music, especially when you're working on vocals instead of having to rely on a compressor. But that's what I want to show. I'm gonna go hunt down like a riser sound to put through here, and when I find one, I'll come back. Okay, we are busy back. I ended up using a vocal sample from the Analog Labs, which have some really good choir sounds. I always forget they have those. So let me get rid of this dead space. I'll show you what I got, and I'll explain what we're gonna do. I always end up deleting like dead space in recordings when I'm printing them. It drives me crazy. Also, it seems to slow down your computer too if you have too much of it. So here's the sound. It's unexpected. It's something like that. It's way too loud, but I always just end up recording things too loud and then just gain them down. Like 6 dB, and then still too loud. 12 dB. There it is. Okay, and these are gonna swell in, so we're gonna go and we're just gonna automate the fader to move in. I'll just do it manually. Where is the track? There we go. I get so lost in the DAW. I get lost in the sauce and lost in the DAW. So we're just gonna fade them in by hand, easy. And I didn't play the rest, but you'll see that the chord shapes change as I go, because I kind of forgot which one I played previously, and I kind of rolled with it and just like started turning into a melody bit that crescendos at the end of the song. something like that. And we're gonna turn them back up. Actually, they're a little too quiet, so they need to be more present. They're too loud by themselves. But when you volume swell them, you need more of an impact, or it's just like a kind of loss. So let's put it back at -6. Perfect. And now I like them to stick around after they drop back out. But the easiest way to do that is if we send it to this bus over here. They should hang around because the reverb isn't getting cut off at all. We'll make it like pretty loud and see what happens. This should work. Subtle, but you can kind of hear it. Let me put it into, let's play the synth by itself. Oh, it doesn't hang around. Oh, beans. I don't feel like... we'll leave it like it is. It's fine. Make them a little wider, too. Actually, put a stereo image on it. Stereo spread. Pick any preset, doesn't matter. Perfect. Excellent. Doesn't matter the preset. Just flip through a bunch and just put it in God's hands. Is all I can say. Okay, this is cool. Let me play the last one again, just for example. I think the last one shouldn't be a swell. The last one should just be as it is. So we'll get rid of all of that and set this back to like, oh, I gotta make 2 points. 2 points, and then put this like, yeah. So now it's just like there. Like you get the point of the swell by the end. Let's just get to the point, like get the choir chirping. The choir chirping? The choir chirping. Excellent, excellent. Okay, now I think we can do some top line synth stuff. Okay, a few points of order. The vocal sound came from Spitfire Audio Labs, not Analog Labs. Too many plugins. So give credit where it's due. This synth line took me a minute to figure out where to go with it. I was getting too fancy. This is just like a real simple. We're just going to use the pitch and modulation wheel, and we're going to put them at the very end as these last 2 sets of bars here. Wrong note, I think of that. I don't love it. I think it's kind of shit. I'll come back to this. I think I'm gonna sit on it. I think I'm done for now. But we'll get back sometime in the indeterminable future. I'll figure out the correct synth lead line to cap this whole project off with. But yeah, we'll get to that one day. Adios. And we're back again. Scratch my beard. Hit the chord. I got tired of fucking around with keyboards, to be honest with you. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a guitar to sound like a synth, which is always fun. You know, I'm a guitar and bass player first, I'm a keyboard player second. I love synths, but at some point I just like, I think I know I can do this better with a guitar. So I basically, ooh, you heard it. I made myself a little channel. Got a little bit crusher, crystallizer here, another Soundtoys plugin, doing a harmony. And then to keep it on brand, we're using the Spaceblender. It sounds like this. just gonna layer apart. Easy. Take it, sure. Just a little lead line, something to end it on. Yeah, that's about it. So the guitar cable ended up on the ground, unplugged, and it made a cool sound. I recorded that. I'll put it at the end. I'll play this song at the end as well. But I guess before that, a debriefing. You know, this plugin's free till the 22nd of May. Go pick it up. It's fun. It's a Soundtoys plugin. They're always fun. I like that one. I think that I'll probably end up using it more in my workflow when I'm working on stuff. I mean, it's just a weird sound of reverb. It's fun. I hope you learned something today about just creative ways to use reverb in any kind of music. I mean, this is a dance track, but I'm thinking of ways I might be using it in a folk project I might produce in a couple months if I get lucky. And yeah, you know, at the end of the day, a plugin's just a tool, and how you use it is up to you. Music's music. That's about it. Thank you very much for enjoying this if you did, or I guess joining me in enjoying it if you did. More things coming. Let's see, next week. Yes, next week is story time. Story time about the unique way I learned to play keyboards. It's a little out of the box, but otherwise, thank you very much and have a good day. Goodbye.